I think I lost the first one. I didn't save it correctly. So, this is take two of Onyx Void talking into the abyss that is the internet. Once again. So, in order to consume, you generally need this thing called currency. And as we know, you trade your time for the currency. Generally, that's what happens. You trade your time for currency, unless of course you're on the new 9 to 5. No, even if you're on the new 9 to 5, which is YouTube, you're trading your time for currency. And this is all by design. This is all mentioned by somebody else. I'm once again not stating anything new, as there's nothing new under the sun. You'll hear me say that time and time again. But that's just the state of the world. You either figure out a way to trade your time for currency, or you figure out a way to trick someone into a contract for trading their time into currency. So, you need to get a job, and that's going to be the running theme, the core topic of this video, is getting a job now is actually super hard, and I don't need to really reiterate that, as there are plenty of channels on YouTube looking at you, Zach Rios looking at you, Market Gains. There are plenty of YouTube videos on here. In fact, you can't go anywhere without seeing either a layoff video or someone complaining or reposting TikTok videos complaining about people not actually being able to get a job or getting laid off. And it's become a problem. And somebody was breaking down the numbers yesterday that, it doesn't seem as bad as it is. That's what it really comes down to. The hundreds and thousands of jobs being lost due to layoffs, it's really not that bad. Because, there's millions of people in America that do have jobs and do keep the money circulating. But I would argue that it is terrible that people don't have jobs, are losing jobs, even a small percentage. Because one, we know we can't trust the numbers; they're never accurate. Two, as somebody else mentioned, we don't know how they're actually including people in those jobs. How they're actually calculating all this. They never tell us the formula, of course. They can always, fudge the numbers and tell us whatever we want. How do we know it's true? We can't see. They can't see. Well, they could. But generally, they can't see every person working or not working, especially under the table. In fact, pulling up a recent article, it was a company, a staffing agency company, I believe it's Orange County Staffing, that just got busted. And I sent this screenshot to one of my contacts in my phone. Like, hey, you think they could avoid the IRS after $90 million of not paying their employees and taxes? This is one thing that's going to bust you in this world for anything, is the IRS. They're going to eventually find you, especially if there's that much outflow of money. Especially, they're going to find you. And I guess they sent ICE in there, and it's a bust. Like, these people on the other end of it, they tricked the illegal immigrants to spend their time to work under the table, to then allow the owners to embezzle the money. They were living lavish lifestyles. They were going on cruises and trips. They were living it up. And generally, I guess if you're going to get busted and do the time, I guess you should live it up while you can. Because, once again, the IRS is going to eventually find you. That's just the beginning of the end of it. But getting a job, the meta of it is that you're trading your time for money, but I gotta stop that. You're trading your time for currency. And every year, the currency just loses more and more value. So you're spending more time trying to collect a depreciating asset, and nobody wants to give raises. Everybody wants to be cheap. Cheap, 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 cheap. Everything has to be ground down to the bottom dollar, the bottom penny. And like I said, I don't have to complain on this. I don't have to rant on this. It's getting to the point where businesses, all businesses, can't stay open. In fact, the country can't even run. How the country's even running at this point is just through the smoke and mirrors and the fact that it hasn't come out to the public of how terrible this actually is. They haven't. It's come out to the public through small channels, but the mainstream media is slow dripping the actual reality of what's going on. And you're here as a normal, everyday person trying to get a job, trying to collect some currency so you don't starve, so you don't end up living in a van by the river, as they would say in the olden times. So, coming back to me, I applied for some jobs. I'm very qualified. I got quite a few certifications on my belt at this point. So, I go to apply for a job, and it went something like this. I applied for the job. I put in my driver's license into the application and uploaded my resume. That went smooth enough. But the next day, it was cool. The next day, the recruiter calls me from this place. I'm going to mention the name because I don't work for them officially yet, and I don't think they'll ever see this. Foreshadowing. Shamrock. They call me, and the first thing they ask me, well, they say that, okay, we're going to set up an interview, and the first thing they ask me is, do you have a driver's license and how long you've been driving? Once again, I put my driver's license number on the application, so the fact that they didn't know that actually raised some red flags. And from there, the conversation went, we could start you, we'll bring you in Tuesday for an interview. And you bring in Tuesday for an interview, and I'm trying to remember. We don't actually know what schedule. There's what it was. That was the other red flag. We don't actually know what the schedule's going to be like. Be flexible. It could be day or night. And I'm thinking, you're HR. You're calling me to offer a job, and you don't know if there's actually a job. And this has been a running theme, actually. This is not the first time this happened to me. I'm sure it's happened to plenty of other people. But it raises red flags a lot, and it's why I don't... That's why I work... That's why I'm trying to get this YouTube thing going. And by the way, if you get any value out of this, if you agree with this, if you vibe with this, leave a subscribe, leave a like, subscribe, maybe if you feel like it. So I can keep vibing. I can probably escape the 9 to 5 for the shekels I get from YouTube. So once again, I'm already skeptical of this HR person supposedly at Shamrock, and of course with every driving position, this is what it is. It's okay, you gotta go through these hoops, you gotta get a background check. Mind you, I just did pass the background check. I just passed the background check for something else, another certification. So I know everything's clean, but I'm very hesitant to open that email at this point because I don't know this is a scam. It's like, how are you HR and you just don't know? How are you this clueless? I get this is just kind of like a preliminary touching the bases, but you should be able to at least see my application if I applied. So, get a job. This all being, get a job is not just get a job. Get a job is try not to get scammed these days, because we know about the fake job postings. That's been admitted. We know the AI scams. That's been admitted. We know that the jobs don't pay anything. They don't pay a living wage. This, hopefully, they don't skimp me. I swear, if I get in there and they go, oh, you're gonna have to, because you don't have the 2 years of experience required, we're gonna have to knock you down to, $19 an hour or whatever. I'm just gonna stand up and I'm gonna leave. That's gonna be my reaction. As soon as I hear that, I know they're gonna do that. And I know the last job I tried to get was through a temp company. And the first thing they try to do is, first of all, make you sign a waiver that you won't use your phone to record them. That's already sus. And I fell for that, and I constantly look over my shoulder now, because I don't know what they're going to use that information for. They haven't called me, they haven't contacted me, they're not trying to get in touch. I have the same number, and it's kind of just getting under my skin. And I don't want to be one of the statistics. Once again, I have IT certs. I know that I shouldn't have done that. I should have just dropped it. I should have really played to, I don't really want to call it pride, but it's more of a caution, and just said no and just walked out. But you're desperate, you're gonna do it. But so far, I've been holding up. I've been holding up with temporary jobs, doing day labor, trying to get this YouTube thing going, and possibly some door dashing. So I won't be desperate going into these interviews, which is really the new meta of interviewing, and just getting into an office to have a physical conversation with somebody is pretty much impossible these days. I'm not surprised. I actually have skills. I actually have skills that matter. I'm not surprised that they would call me to an actual physical interview, especially when it's a local company that's internationally known. You know what Shamrock is. You've seen the trucks. Everybody knows that. They have milk, apparently. But they do other things as well. And pretty much a good portion of the jobs I'm actually qualified for. So if I don't get this job at Shamrock, driving a truck, I can go be a security guard. I can go at Shamrock. I can go work at the warehouse and drive a forklift at Shamrock. I'm qualified for any of that. Yeah, man. Talking about what I did on Friday, I'm just kind of tired of it. Hopefully I don't have to do the warehouse, because lifting up, was it 120-pound dishwashers out of a truck for a distribution center. Pretty much that was my whole day yesterday, and the rest of the day I spent laying down because my back was sore. And it's been a while. It's been a while since I actually been in the warehouse, actually lifting things. And I remember I used to be able to empty a truck within like 20 minutes by myself, and I can't do that anymore. I'm not conditioned for it. It's been about 2-3 years since I've done that, since I've been in that kind of shape where I can do that. And frankly, I don't want to do it anymore, because after I did all that, I put all this pressure on the people outside of the truck to unload it. And once again, these are the people that are left over. They're old veterans. They're in their 50s and 60s, and they were actually trying to slow me down because I was going too fast. So I'm not in the best of shape, but I'm still good enough for warehouse work. But I don't want to be doing that, especially once I got my check and I actually get to see the check. Since it's day labor, you get paid out the same day if you make it to the office in time before the people, how can I put it, the dispatchers leave. They actually print out the checks. And I get my check, worked 5 hours. It's $15 an hour. Another $60 in the bank for a whole bunch of back hurting. And this is life now, and it sucks. Get a job, they say. I would rather come on here and scream into a void and hope somebody likes and subscribes so I can collect that good YouTube pennies for just yapping. And with that, this is Onyx Void. I'll catch you in the next one.